T-levels are a new 2-year qualification for 16 to 19-year-olds with an in-depth 45-day industry placement at the heart of each course. Designed with employers, each T-level placement helps employers find solutions for entry-level skills shortages whilst developing future talent for the business. This series of conversations will explore T-levels and industry placements with employer guests from across the public sector. Hello there and welcome to this discussion on T-levels. My name's Bruce, I'm your host for today in this discussion with Nigel Carruthers. Nigel, welcome, how are you doing?
Welcome, I'm doing very well.
Perfect, lovely to hear that. Nigel, I was wondering if you could start by just giving us a sense of your current role, what you do right now, and a bit more about your professional background.
Absolutely. I'm a senior advisor at the local government association. I provide national advice to councils around people management issues. I've worked in and for local government for nearly 30 years. I'm a HR professional by background, but primarily, I guess you'd say my job is to help councils to improve how they manage their people, how they manage their workforce. And I lead on engagement, talent, development and learning and local government careers at the LGA.
Lovely, thank you. Obviously a deep well of experience there, I think it's fair to say, and I'm sure in that time you've seen all kind of things enter the field in terms of aiming to get development really right for people. In that context, when did you first hear about T-levels? Obviously relatively new, and when you did, what were your immediate thoughts?
I think it was I was really pleased that the government had started to look at qualifications for young people. So that post-GCSE landscape all seemed quite confusing, both to employers and to young people. You can do A-levels, you could potentially go in and be an apprentice, and then there's a plethora of other qualifications. And T-levels are hopefully going to provide some clarity around that. So it was really, I was really pleased to see that the government had started to look at that technical education. At the LGA, we look across the policy landscape at a whole range of different initiatives from government. So we were well aware that T-levels were coming down the line, and obviously since they've launched in September 2020, we're really keen as an employer to understand them and see how they were going to help us recruit young people.
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of a nice twist in some of the other conversations that we've heard. It's all about this idea of not only being able to attract young people, but giving them a specific thing that they can do within your sector. And a specific kind of sense that's very much something that they can get involved with. Obviously, local government hugely important. What do you think the effect of T-levels will be on your sector long term?
Well, I think one of the challenges our sector have is people don't really understand local government, and local government touches everyone's life every single day. If you think about your own local council, it's responsible for a whole range of vital services for people and businesses. We have lots of different types of councils. Some are very large, some are very small, but there's lots of well-known services such as social care, schools, housing, planning, refuse collection, street cleaning, as well as some services that people perhaps don't know that we do, such as licensing and business support, registrar service, things like pest control. So we do a whole range of different kind of occupations. In fact, there's 800 different occupations in local government, and we employ about 1.2 million people. The challenge we've got, though, is that, like many businesses in the UK, we're actually got quite an ageing population in terms of our workforce. The average age is 47, and we only have about 2% of our workforce is under the age of 25. We're not too bad at attracting young people, but one of the challenges that we find is actually keeping them once they've joined. So a number of young people will join local government, maybe stay for a couple of years and then move on. And what we're really keen to do in our sector is be a place of destination, a career destination for young people, so they can actually work for their area and live in their area and put something back into their area. So we're really, really keen to use T-levels as a way of actually attracting young people to work in local government and give them their first taste of what it might be like to work. So that's really what we've been focusing on, using T-levels as an entry route into local government.
As you say, it's not only the attracting them, it's keeping them in, giving them an actual career pathway, a sense of the future almost, which I think is often underrated in terms of keeping people on board. You mentioned obviously the fact that local government has an ageing workforce, like so many others in the UK, and it's being said that there's no replacement for youth. So why is it very important then to attract young people to the sector?
Well, I think anyone will tell you, if you've ever worked with a young person who's come into your organisation, that they'll bring a different kind of outlook, a different view, generation to generation, you might say. And I think what we need is that fresh outlook. We need to, look at the makeup of our workforce and make sure it represents the communities that we're serving. A lot of our jobs are graduate based. So in the past, you'll seen a number of young people entering local government as a graduate straight from university. And I think what T-levels gives us is that vocational pathway, that route into some of those careers. And we want really this to be a stepping stone for those young people post 16. So we really see T-levels across the spectrum of all the different types of subject areas. You can access local government. There's very few T-levels actually that don't apply to local government. So we're really excited about them and really hope that they can actually be a really good start. Those first 45 days of work, if we can all remember back to those times, what is that like in your first 45 days? And we're really keen to make a quality experience for that young person. So they may not stay in the local authority, but hopefully, because they're from our local community, and that's what councils are about, building and strengthening local communities, that young person gets a really good start on their job and their career, and then they gain some skills and knowledge, hopefully to stay within local government, but also obviously to go on and do other things, hopefully staying within their own place.
Yeah, making a difference in the community.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those win-wins all around, I think. You made a good point there about T-levels aren't just applying in one narrow area. It's a complete broad scope across the organisation that they can have an impact in. In terms of your sector's organisational needs, what benefits are T-levels bringing there?
Well, we've got a number of skill shortage areas. So we've got a number of areas where we know we struggle to recruit people to, and they vary year to year. But looking back, as I said, I've been in local government for 30 years. If you look back over the last 30 years, we always struggle to bring people into social care, particularly social work. Teacher recruitment is still always a challenge. Local government still has a number of maintained schools, as well as it supports academy sector. We also have a number of what we call our regulatory jobs, which sounds a bit bureaucratic and administrative. But actually, when you get into some of those jobs, in fact, there's been TV programmes around them, around the pest control, environmental health, about making sure that, if you buy something on a market stall, it's not faulty or it's not a fake, making sure that actually those regulations that are in place to protect us are maintained. And we really do sometimes struggle in those areas. So we're looking for T-levels really to provide that kind of first rung on the ladder towards a graduate profession and a well-paid job. Because we all know that if you improve your skills and your qualifications to level 4, as it's called, for those people who understand the qualifications framework in this country, if you can get up to that kind of graduate level, you really can start to earn some serious money. And one of the things we're really keen to do is attract young people to think of local government as a career. So, yeah, in those skill shortage areas. There's other areas in local government, though, that some people might not realise we need skills in, and digital and IT is one of those areas, as well as legal professions. We employ a number of solicitors, and sort of general administration is also an area that we are keen to recruit. So there's lots of ways into your council. And you can, obviously, once you're in there, gain development and learning and progress. And that's what we're looking to do, build those pathways. So if you start at T-level, you could move on to maybe an apprenticeship. And then from an apprenticeship, which can be, of course, graduate-based apprenticeships, you can lead on to some professional qualifications. And that's what we're looking to do, build these route ways. As I say, they only started in September 2020. So as employers, we're really keen to start to build those and give people a kind of clear pathway in terms of their career.
Yeah, this idea of pathways is something that has been repeated so often. I think is so important. It's not just about kind of the edifice of local government. It's the fact that digital is a pathway within there. As you say, legal professions. There is so much work that can happen. Often it's not just people's first thought. Conversations we've had with some of the NHS providers is people think of NHS, they think of nurses and doctors. They don't think of engineers and IT professionals and all the kind of careers that are be able to have in that sector. And obviously in the local government sector. You're touching on kind of relationships of providers. Obviously, to deliver T-levels well, we're bringing together a number of individuals. How do you think employers can build positive relationships with providers to deliver these placements?
One of the things the LGA is trying to do in supporting T-levels is help councils and providers work closer together around how they can support young people in their communities. And one of the areas that we've been focusing on is looking where councils have been successful in that place. because obviously young people have been accessing education and then looking to step from education into work. One of the things we're keen to do is make sure that T-levels are now a key part of that relationship, because a key part of the T-level, one of the things that I think employers will embrace is this industry placement. It's a different aspect to a qualification. It's not an apprenticeship where you go 4 days a week and maybe do a day at college. You're at college for 4 days and then you do a day at an industry placement. It doesn't have to be a day every week. It could be a block of an industry placement. But ultimately, we're looking for those first 45 days. And they're bringing something, that young person is going to be bringing something into the workplace. It's about the quality of that experience. And that's one of the things we're really, really keen to focus on. And some of our messaging and our support to councils has been around just looking at that one individual and getting them into work on that 45-day placement, on a real project that's meaningful work, that gives them quality skills, and that's what we're really looking for.
Yeah, getting engaged and obviously signposting what it is that you're looking for, so critical, and wrapping all of that in support is just so understated. Support makes all of this work. Obviously, you've spoken quite a lot and well, I think, on what it is that you want to see in terms of ideal outcomes, certainly for young people and obviously for organisations. In terms of quality and success, what would you say the marks for quality and success are for industry placements within your sector in particular?
Well, for us, I suppose there's two things. The first one is that young person gets a quality experience, learns some skills, and is able to contribute to society as a whole in terms of their job. Ideally, they stay. So success for us is they stay within local government and progress on to an apprenticeship or a job. The quality in terms of the learning experience, so the quality in terms of the delivery of that training, and that training being applied, that learning being applied in the workplace. So we're really looking to see if we can make a difference. We have a kind of campaign at the moment, which is about just take one, which seems quite small in a way, but we're looking for every local authority to take one young person and to really build a quality experience and to make sure that one individual who starts that T-level industry placement really has gained something and given something back. T-levels are the equivalent of 3 A-levels. So these are really high quality, and hopefully we'll get high quality candidates applying. And for an employer, it's really important to know that if you're getting an industry placement, you're getting a young person on that industry placement, you're getting someone who is enthusiastic, who's passionate, who's invested in their own education. And that's so important. And that's what we're looking to do. I mean, ultimately, success is about developing careers for us.
Absolutely. Something that we can't lose sight of in all this, like careers only benefit everyone, certainly in the wider world. Then looking at kind of, I guess, the longer view, how do you think we can expect to see local authorities supporting T-levels as they roll out in terms of their responsibility, embracing it? What do you see happening there over the coming months and years?
Well, certainly in the short term, we want at least every local authority to be aware of what T-levels are, to understand them and understand how they're going to support their workforce plans, if you like, their development plans, their progression, to use HR terms. But it's about talent. It's about identifying your local talent and keeping them working in your local area. So many places, people look for work, can't find work in their locality, and they'll move, they'll go elsewhere. You'll see most of jobs and careers and development is down in the southeast and in London. And I think what we want to do is level up. So we want to look at making sure that those opportunities exist across England and Wales. And I think one of the things we're really keen to do is see that T-levels actually provide that opportunity for those young people in whichever city or town they're in. And that's what we're looking to do. I think from a local authority point of view, we're very good at working with young people and supporting youth participation across the spectrum of people with varying needs. So T-levels fit into a much wider landscape of support for young people. We've mentioned apprenticeships and A-levels, but there are other things like traineeships. The government have a kickstart scheme at the moment, which is trying to help young people back into work. One of the things we know from the pandemic that it's disproportionately affected young people more than other parts of the community. So we really are keen to see, in terms of our response and our recovery from the pandemic, that T-levels can play a really key part in helping a young person back into work, or certainly even their first opportunity. So as councils, as local authorities, we are a big employer, but we also have a remit around economic development, which basically means to support the economy to grow. And we see young people as a key to that, and building their skills and increasing their knowledge and ability to add more into the communities, what we're all about. So again, working with our providers, it's a key thing that we need to be doing going forward.
Yeah, I really like that last point about, if it's delivered well, it really is one of those rare win-wins. You get to
Absolutely.
accomplish so many things in one swoop. So then finally, Nigel, unfortunately our time's nearly at an end, but if someone's been watching this, they've been listening, if you could get them to remember one thing that they could take away from this, what would it be about T-levels?
I think T-levels give you the first opportunity to grow your skills, gaining real experience with a real employer, learning about a real job. This is not about theory, it's not about classroom-based only. It is a combination of gaining good skills in the workplace and applying the knowledge you've learned. And for me, if you're thinking about T-levels as an individual or as an employer, if you want to think about what will T-levels mean to me, it's about giving a young person an opportunity from 16 to 19, a chance to start work, to learn about the career that they've chosen and the pathway, and then to obviously nurture that person and grow that person to be part of the future workforce, which is what we're all about. I think when you look at all of the different initiatives that you can access, I think T-levels are here to stay. They're a fundamental shift in the way we're going to deliver post-16 education. T-levels are going to be around, for a long time. So why not get on the front foot, give that one young person an opportunity, take on an industry placement, see the difference of the quality of the candidate, make sure that we provide a quality experience, and then use this as a really great way to grow your workforce for the future.
Absolutely. Well, Nigel, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for watching and listening and getting engaged with this content. This video is one of a series, so if you've liked this conversation, please make sure you check out the others available. But thank you for now. Goodbye.